watching Just the News. I'm Amita Balachandra. We start off with our top story on what's going on in the Parliament. 19 opposition MPs were suspended from the Rajya Sabha today for the rest of the week for storming and disrupting the House proceedings. Now, the suspended MPs include Sushmita Dev, Mausam Noor, Dr. Shantanu Sen, among others. This comes after 4 Congress MPs in the Lok Sabha were suspended yesterday for the rest of the monsoon session after they carried placards inside the House. Now, earlier, Speaker Om Birla had warned that MPs bringing placards inside the House will not be allowed to take part in the proceedings. The opposition has been protesting against inflation, Agnipath fuel price rise, among other issues as well. Meanwhile, Union Minister of State for Petroleum and Gas, Rameshwar Teli, has informed the Parliament that petrol prices were increased 78 times while diesel rates were increased 76 times in Delhi during the financial year 2021 to 22. He said, and I quote, "The prices of petroleum products in the country are linked to the price of respective products in the international market. However, the government continues to modulate the effective price to consumer for domestic LPG," end quote. Now, fuel price constitute an important factor behind retail inflation, and retail inflation had climbed to 7.79% in April, the highest in 8 years. Also, Union Minister of State for Finance, Pankaj Chaudhary, has informed the Parliament that the ED or the Enforcement Directorate has convicted only 23 people in 5,422 cases registered under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act since the law came into effect 17 years ago. Now, the law was enacted in 2002 and it was implemented on the 1st of July 2005. It was enacted to prevent money laundering, mainly resulting from the international narcotics and drugs trade. However, this is what several lawyers, according to an article carried by Scroll, have argued. They've argued that because a number of crimes have been brought under the ambit of this law through amendments over the years, the list of offences also include less serious crimes such as infringement of copyright and application of false trademarks. Moving on to other news right now, starting off with the Twitter versus Centre tussle that's going on. In an update, the Karnataka High Court has now issued notice to the Centre on a writ petition filed by Twitter challenging the blocking orders issued by the Centre. Now, the Council for Twitter told the court that it had received notices to block nearly 1,100 accounts without providing any reasons to the platform or the account holders. Now, to give you a context, under Section 69A of the IT Act, Centre should provide a valid reason for blocking or restricting accounts. However, Twitter in its petition has said that the orders are, and I quote, "procedurally and substantially deficient of the provision and demonstrate excessive use of powers and are disproportionate," end quote. Now, on the other hand, the Centre claims that Twitter has lost its immunity to seek legal action. In the meantime, the Central Government Council requested that the hearing be made in camera, and the bench said it will consider the next hearing in this matter is on the 25th of August. Moving on now, an update in the teacher recruitment scam story. West Bengal Minister Partha Chatterjee and his aide Arpita Mukherjee have been sent to ED's custody till the 3rd of August. Now, Chatterjee was arrested on Saturday by the ED in connection with the alleged School Service Commission scam. Cash and jewelry, incidentally, was recovered from Arpita Mukherjee's residence. The TMC, of course, had distanced itself from what had happened. The ED is tracking the money trail in the scam. Meanwhile, the ED has summoned Sonia Gandhi for a 3rd round of questioning in a money laundering case related to the National Herald newspaper. Meanwhile, Rahul Gandhi, along with other Congress leaders, were detained today in Delhi as they staged a protest while Mr. Gandhi's mother, Sonia Gandhi, was being questioned by the Enforcement Directorate. Now, according to a report by NDTV, Rahul Gandhi said, and I quote, "I'm not courting arrest. I am protesting against price rise, unemployment, for the voice of people," end quote. Meanwhile, the death toll of people allegedly consuming spurious liquor on Sunday in Gujarat's Ahmedabad and Bhotad districts have now risen to 30. 51 people have been admitted to several hospitals. State Home Minister has announced a 3-member committee to probe the matter and submit a detailed report in 3 days. Also, the Election Commission will now start a campaign to link Aadhaar card with voter ID from the 1st of August in Maharashtra. Chief Electoral Officer Shrikant Deshpande said that this will help establish the identity of voters and authenticate entries in electoral rolls. Elections to 14 civic bodies in Maharashtra, including the BMC, are likely to be held in October. Meanwhile, in its interim bail order for Alt News co-founder Mohammed Zubair, the Supreme Court has said, and I quote, "Individuals must not be punished solely on the basis of allegations and without a fair trial," end quote. Now, it also added that arrest is not meant to be and must not be used as a punitive tool. Misuse of power, it said, to arrest results in one of the gravest possible consequences of criminal law, the loss of personal liberty. Mohammed Zubair was arrested by the Delhi police on the 27th of June. There were several other cases filed by the UP police as well. He was released then later on the 20th of July. Moving on to environment news right now, CNN has reported that China has issued extreme heat alert for almost 70 cities in what is reported as a second heat wave this month. Now, this has pushed electricity usage to record levels in some areas and has also led to blackouts. Now, as of Tuesday, more than 300 cities were forecast to reach temperatures above 35 degrees Celsius, and as of Monday, 67 cities had issued red alerts as well. On to news coming in from across the globe right now. According to a report by BBC, 4 democracy activists have been executed by Myanmar's military. Now, the 4 were accused of committing terror acts. US Secretary of State Anthony Blinken condemned the executions in Myanmar. The executions are the first since 1988, according to the United Nations. Now, previous executions in Myanmar have been by hanging. According to activist group, the Assistance Association of Political Prisoners, since the coup, 117 people had been sentenced to death. The military launched a coup in February 2021. On to our good news for the day now. India chased down a 312-run target in the second ODI against West Indies to set a new record for the most consecutive bilateral ODI series wins against a team. Now, with the victory, India led the series by 2-0, marking their 12th consecutive ODI series win against West Indies. Now, the win also helped India overtake Pakistan, who had registered 11 consecutive victories against Zimbabwe from 1996 to 21. That brings us to the end of this bulletin. Thank you so much for watching. We are going to put up a discussion that we've done on monkeypox with an epidemiologist on what really we should be looking out for, what are the symptoms, what are the precautions, and whether we really need to be worried at this point, because India has reported 4 cases of monkeypox. That will be up on our YouTube channel. Take a look at it as well. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.